Always true.
Lebanon has spent decades caught between war and uneasy peace. A country where foreign powers, regional rivalries, and domestic divisions have repeatedly collided. Here, the authority of the state has often competed with the authority of groups like Hezbollah. Now, that debate has returned with renewed urgency. The latest Israeli attacks on Hezbollah may be fading from the world's headlines, but the strikes continue. Southern Lebanon is under Israeli military occupation. More than 1 million Lebanese have been forcibly displaced. And the ceasefire that was meant to bring stability remains fragile. Lebanon's government insists that only the state has the right to decide questions of war and peace. President Joseph Aoun has argued that Lebanon cannot rebuild while armed groups continue to operate outside state authority. But Hezbollah tells a very different story. It argues that diplomacy has failed, that the Lebanese state has failed, that Israel continues to violate Lebanon's sovereignty with impunity. And it says when governments cannot protect their citizens, resistance becomes not only legitimate, but necessary. The argument goes to the heart of Lebanon's future. This week, we are joined by Ibrahim Moussawi, a member of parliament and a senior figure within Hezbollah. He rejects accusations that Hezbollah is undermining the Lebanese state. He insists the movement is defending Lebanese sovereignty where the state has failed to do so. And he argues that the real obstacle to peace is not Hezbollah's weapons, but Israel's continuing military actions inside Lebanon. So, as the country confronts difficult questions about security, sovereignty, and national identity, who speaks for Lebanon? Who defends Lebanon? And who gets to decide when the fighting ends? Lebanese MP Ibrahim Moussawi talks to Al Jazeera.
Hezbollah MP Ibrahim Moussawi, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.
Pleasure always, thank you for giving the opportunity.
Today, many Lebanese are asking, when will this war end? And who bears responsibility for ceasefires that are not being practiced or are not being implemented?
This is a question that should be addressed to the aggressor. We are under aggression, we are under occupation now. Israel has occupied our country since a long time ago. This is not something new. We have to address the root cause of the problem, which is the existence of this occupying hegemonic aggressive state, criminal state. And now with the bunch of criminals that are presiding over the authority in occupied Palestine, the Israeli leaders who are listed on the criminal list and who should be sued for their crimes, for their genocide against the Palestinians in Gaza and now in Lebanon. When you talk about this, you have to address this to the Israelis and also to the American administration that bears the whole responsibility of fully supporting the Israelis and the Israeli entity nowadays.
But Mr. Moussawi, the Lebanese government, the Lebanese president, the Lebanese prime minister are also holding Hezbollah responsible for that. What's the reason?
We all know now that the authority in Lebanon, if I might say so, because we make this distinct differentiation between authority and the state. We're part of the state, we're in the parliament, we're in the government, we're part of the executive authority. But when we talk about the authority as authority, they hold responsibility for the deterioration of the immunity of the country because of their surrender attitude, because of their submission to the Israeli dictation, to the American dictations, and to the pressures. They always say that we are under pressure from the outside. Okay, we do understand this. This is very usual. This is very normal. Superpowers, powers who are mighty, who are looking after their interests and their needs in the whole issue, they need to make pressure. But what about your own people? I mean, while you talk or while you take it as a pretext or alibi to say that we are under pressure, yes, you are under pressure, and this is usual to be under pressure, but what about the internal pressure? The people who are sacrificing, the people who are being killed on a daily basis, who are being assassinated, the genocide that is taking place, the demolishing and the destruction of full neighborhoods in the south, the uprooting of the people from their land, which are, by the way, very known to be criminal acts, to be war crimes, they are all happening under this authority. This authority didn't do anything in order to stand in the face of the aggression. One of the very important things is the army. We have an army. The army has a basic role to do, which is to defend the country, to defend the people, to defend the land. This authority, they gave orders to the army to withdraw in front of the Israelis and to go back. They didn't do anything to help the people.
But they say that this is not a war that they chose. It's Hezbollah that chose to go to this war, and they were not consulted.
This is not true, actually. Now we have a misleading attitude, and there is a kind of propaganda that is being played here.
Even the president said this is a Hezbollah-Israel war, and it's not Lebanon and Israel war.
This, I don't want to say that this is a lack of culture, that they don't understand the history. I have just mentioned that the resistance in Lebanon and the war in Lebanon didn't start with Hezbollah. The occupation in Lebanon didn't start with Hezbollah. The Israelis themselves, they are saying we have our ambitions in the Lebanese soil and in the Lebanese oil and the Lebanese gas, and they are saying they want to build settlements in the Lebanese landscape. You go back and fetch it, it's there. They are saying it publicly. So what does this signify? Doesn't this ring a bell in the mind and in the authority of the president and the prime minister as well? No, this is not a war that we started. It's not, it's a mockery actually when they say this is the others' wars on the Lebanese territories. This is misleading, very misleading, and this is a kind of tainting the history and kind of, if you want, misinforming the people about what really happened.
Wasn't there a ceasefire till the
this
2nd
is what
of March?
This is what I wanted
and then
to say.
On the 2nd of March, there was
the ceasefire has never
launched to
the war has never stopped. Unless if the president said that they are not Lebanese, those 500 people that were killed, the 2,000-3,000 that they were wounded, and everybody knows, go to the archive and see what happened. They have demolished more houses and more neighborhoods during the ceasefire.
You mean between the 27th of November 2024 and the beginning of the war?
Exactly. And we stopped. He, the president himself, who says that we bear responsibility and this is Hezbollah war, it's not his war. He has publicly come and said that Hezbollah respected the ceasefire for 15 months. And they wanted to take hold and to take command and to take authority and to take responsibility. What did they do? They talked about diplomacy, about pressure, about talks with powers and superpowers in order to broker a ceasefire or to make sure that the Israelis would withdraw. There was a list of conditions that should be met in order to reach a peace or to reach a kind of settlement and maintain it. They didn't do it, actually. All of their diplomatic efforts for 15 months, it didn't help do anything. And that's why we had more than 500 people killed, assassinated. Many neighborhoods were erased from the map, and we had more than 3,000 wounded. What did they do about it? He himself said, the president, that Hezbollah respected fully the ceasefire. They never sent a bullet against the Israelis, and we were killed on a daily basis. Isn't this enough proof that we respected the ceasefire and we waited for this authority to do something about it, and they never did anything? So the war in this sense was continuous. We didn't break the ceasefire.
But what would the government do? It doesn't have any capabilities to do.
If they don't have any capabilities to defend or to protect, and this is their basic role, they cannot prevent people from defending themselves and from trying to protect themselves. This is the situation, this is the equation. If you can't, you have a family, I believe, you're married, you have children. If someone comes from outside and starts beating up your children in front of your eyes, and you don't do anything about it, the children will tell you, Father, please, Dad, help us, protect us, and you won't do anything. You'll only watch your children being beaten up. And then one of the children would hold a stick or anything to defend himself. You cannot tell him, drop it. You cannot, if you're not in the place of defense and protection, you cannot tell your children not to protect themselves anyway. But had the army been there, it's again and again addressing the root cause of the problem. We didn't come to take other people's role. We didn't come to confiscate the role of the army. The army was not there to defend. I've just mentioned it.
But there's always a link. And even we're hearing this more and more. When the president spoke, he spoke on many issues, including Hezbollah's ties to Iran and how Iran is exploiting the Lebanese front to use Lebanon as a chip on negotiations.
This is nonsense. Lebanon as a bargaining chip in the negotiations. Everybody knows Lebanon does not maintain any strategic significance in this war that's happening. Iran is helping Lebanon. Lebanon is not in a place to help Iran anymore. We know very well during the exchange of fire between Iran and the Israelis and the Americans, only 1,000 missile has been sent to the occupied territories in Palestine. Why? Why did the Iranian resort to the Hormuz Strait in order to use it as a strategic asset, as an arm, as something that would help to tip the balance?
Then why did Hezbollah enter the war?
No,
the reason.
It's not that why Hezbollah entered the war. The war was there. Hezbollah responded to the continuous war.
But why did Hezbollah use this timing?
Exactly. This is a very good question. I appreciate it. I'll tell you why. Because after 15 months that has been given to the government and to the authority to maintain and to broker or to defend or to protect and to use diplomacy, after the killing of more than 600 Lebanese and the wounding of more than 3,000 Lebanese and the erasing of total neighborhoods in the villages and the expansion of the Israelis in their presence and occupation in Lebanon, we issued many ultimatum. We said many times, we warned this is not going to continue forever. The government has to do something about it. The international community is responsible to stop the Israelis and their aggressions and their crimes and their assassinations. No one did anything. When Iran started this defense, who started the war? It's America and Israel against Iran. We know this. When the Iranians entered the war, we found that this is an exactly good opportunity to defend our country and to start retaliating, to start responding.
Can you explain
to the aggressions?
Why is it the right time? I mean,
it is the right time because Israel would be busy minding a huge front, fighting with the Iranians. This is the right time that you can engage against the Israelis because the Israeli, if you want concentration, would be against Iran, and then you would be using a window so you can inflict more damage and more punishment against the Israelis for their aggression against our country and for all the assassinations that happened.
But then what happened? The war stopped, and then the war in Lebanon continued. And then you were alone.
The war never stopped.
There was a ceasefire, and then the ceasefire did not apply to Lebanon.
The ceasefire in the beginning has never been respected by the Israelis. So you cannot talk. During this ceasefire, I know, everybody knows, you go to the archives, you go to the history, and you will see that the Israelis have killed, unless if they don't mind that 600 people have been killed during the ceasefire. So there was no real sense of ceasefire. There was no respect to the ceasefire by the Israelis. They were killing on a daily basis, they were erasing on a daily basis, and it continued up till now. This is what happened.
But now there are 600 kilometers also occupied by Israel.
Yes, of course. Look,
during these weeks.
When you engage, again I say, the government did not assume its responsibilities. They did not issue orders to the army to fight. And they say they cannot fight back. Their diplomacy didn't work. They didn't stop the aggressions. They didn't stop the assassinations. So we had to do something to defend ourselves, we, the people of the South. Did we bring people from outside to fight there? They were there. They moved. They were not in the south of Litani. They moved at this time from when the Israelis continued, they moved from the north of Litani to the south of Litani in order to defend and in order to hit back against the Israelis who started this aggression. This is what happened exactly. When you tell me that they occupied more territories, yes. I mean, when you talk about the guerrilla warfare, when you talk about the resistance, you don't talk about holding into certain strongholds and not allowing the Israelis to enter. This is a classic army that has mighty forces. They have if you want superpower and super fire as well in order to use, but Look what happened.
But Dr. Musa,
Look what happened.
There's something very, very clear that
Please.
from the beginning, from the 2nd of March, there was a different level of combat by Hezbollah, as if Hezbollah over the past months wasn't silent, it was rebuilding, despite the Israeli surveillance and attacks, despite the UN patrols, despite the Lebanese army deploying. So Hezbollah on the 27th of November 2024 was thought to be almost a failed case. This is how the Israelis saw it.
Yes,
it's over.
True. This is what they said.
And then on the 2nd of March, there is another Hezbollah. So you were rebuilding. How was that going on?
It was a challenge for Hezbollah. You know, when the army, when the government didn't equip the army and didn't give the orders, and we know the course of action that is taking place, Hezbollah has to do something about it actually, because we know about the Israeli ambitions and the Israeli aggressions and the war crimes. Gaza is still there. We cannot forget Gaza. And that's why, yes, you have to build up. I mean, of course.
Isn't that a violation to the ceasefire?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We know the whole ceasefire, it talks about south of Litani River. We know this as a fact. This is what we respected and we continue to respect till the last moment. But in other areas, we had, you know, they were using this lamenting, oh, Hezbollah, where are you? You have failed, you don't exist anymore. And their whole hopes were pinned that Hezbollah, it would take them only a week and they would like erase Hezbollah. This is what they were saying. The same applies to the Iranian government and the Iranian Republic, that they would defeat Iran in 10 days. And then it was a whole...
Given the fact what happened over the past months, since the last war, 2024 war, and this war, the Lebanese government now is directly engaging with Israel. This would have been a taboo in the past. And for Hezbollah...
It continues to be a taboo till the present.
But this is not being reflected, by the way. We did not see demonstrations in Beirut. We did not see anything that shows this taboo being combated.
No, it's look, I'll tell you what. I mean, we are facing a complex and compound challenges. While you don't want to go into any place where you make a tension in the internal arena in Lebanon, in the internal situation in Lebanon, otherwise you would have seen a lot of demonstrations all over, especially in the area in Beirut. But you know now, you're talking about more than 1 million people. They are displaced from their places and they are everywhere. We don't want to make any tension. We don't want anyone to make use of this as to make a new fitna, to make a new sow the seeds of discord among the Lebanese.
You're afraid of a civil war in the country?
It's not that we are afraid. We don't want to give any opportunity for anyone to do anything that would destabilize our internal conflict.
But is a civil war possible now, do you think, in Lebanon?
I don't believe the civil war is a possibility. Though I know that the Israelis would welcome to see this taking place or happening inside Lebanon, because this will help them a lot.
Now, the government, as we've been saying, is engaging with Israel. There is a diplomatic path.
This is against Lebanese law. This is against the constitution. Everybody knows that when you go into decisions, huge, big decisions that would, if you want, demonstrate the course of action for a strategic time, this should not happen without the acceptance and without the...
But you are in the parliament.
Governance. We are in the parliament and we are against it. We are in the government and we are against it. And the Speaker of the House was against it. These direct negotiations that happened or that took place and that our government engaged itself, and it has brought the government into a big dilemma inside Lebanon.
But does the government have other options?
They have other options, of course. They can go into indirect negotiations. They can say, we cannot go into direct negotiations unless you do this and this and this. We are a government. We are part of the international community. They can address the international community. They can start the engines in order to talk about diplomacy. Lebanon is a government. They have a huge latitude and leverage in order to use outside and inside. They never rallied, they never mobilized the foreign ministry, they never done anything in order to make contacts. Actually, the French had a higher voice than our government against the occupation. So this is something that we have to say, that it has never been accepted by the Lebanese. When you talk about the Lebanese and the majority of the Lebanese, they do not sanction, they do not accept that to go into direct negotiations.
Mentioning the majority of the Lebanese, the president said that you do not represent the Lebanese people. President Joseph Aoun said that Hezbollah does not represent the Lebanese people. It's the same token.
No one represents the Lebanese people, all of the Lebanese people. But I can say, if we don't represent the Lebanese people, who represents the Lebanese people? The president represents the Lebanese people. I mean, we are in the government and being elected. I mean, if you go and see the votes, how many thousands of votes, how many tens of thousands, how many hundreds of thousands of votes that our parliamentary bloc, doesn't this reflect the, if you want, public and the authority, how many people voted to this? I mean, I can tell you, I mean, every member of parliament from Hezbollah would have maybe 20 to 25,000 votes. They were cast into the ballot, ballots that were cast in the box. Others, they have hundreds. So who talks about the representation? If there is any representation, nobody represents all the Lebanese and all the communities. This is true. I accept this. But if we are to represent, we represent the majority of the Lebanese. And here I want to tell you about the resistance against the occupation, about not accepting the normalization. You know, when they make statistics and whatever, and they send questions, it's how do you direct the question? Sometimes all the Lebanese want peace. Yes, I want peace as well. But a just and straightforward and honest peace that gives me all of my rights, I will accept it. But when you talk about peace, you never mention Israel. But what's there in the underlying ideas that it's Israel? No, nobody wants. I mean, the majority of the Lebanese against any kind of peace or normalization with Israel. And when we talk about the people of the resistance, when we talk, it's not Shiites or Sunnis or Druzis or Christians or. You have a whole community of honest Lebanese, real Lebanese, genuine Lebanese, who would put a veto on any normalization of relation with Israel. And here we talk about the majority, and here we talk about the representation.
Let's get back to the negotiations, because we know that there are two paths. There is the Iranian-American path, where the Iranians say that they are asking that Lebanon be part of this deal. And we have on the other side the Lebanese government saying that they do not want anyone to interfere in Lebanese affairs.
Absolutely
and that
not. They want the Americans exclusively to engage in the politics and in the negotiations. They want them to interfere in the politics, and that's why everybody knows that the interview that has been done with CNN by President Joseph Aoun, it was directed to the outside, not to the inside.
Okay, now when the government here in Lebanon is putting on the table a certain, let me say, understanding for a possible ceasefire. According to the lines coming, Hezbollah will refrain from attacking the northern communities in Israel, while Israel will refrain from attacking
occupying entities.
Israel will refrain from attacking Beirut and the southern suburb.
And it should be a full-fledged ceasefire all over Lebanon. It should not only restrained or constrained to Beirut or to the southern suburb. What about the south? Why not a whole full ceasefire without any condition? This is what Speaker Berry
Why didn't Iran condition, for example, that? Because it conditioned already, if you attack Beirut, we will attack Israel. Why did not this extend to the south, for example, to create maybe a stronger case?
This is something that is highly likely to happen, because this is an equation. When you start an equation, you have contexts, you have time context, and you have situational. I believe the Iranians, why wouldn't they do it? I mean, do they want to serve the Israelis? Of course, they would want to have a full-fledged and a comprehensive ceasefire and a comprehensive veto against attacking Lebanon. And this is possibly would take place. Why not? I mean, I believe this is take and give. This is a kind of negotiations.
Are you having discussions with the Iranians with respect to the next steps in Lebanon?
What we really know for a fact, and everybody knows to follow up, that the Iranians are highly committed to this. They want to help Lebanon. Lebanon is not an arena where the Israelis, where the Iranians are making a lot of benefit on the strategic sense. Now, when we talk about Hormuz Strait itself, then you're talking about an economic, a world asset that would really influence the course of events, the course of actions, the course of happenings in a way as to serve Lebanon. Lebanon should be thankful for Iran and for the Iranian leadership for including it, for putting a veto that unless a ceasefire is reached, unless a stoppage of the aggressions in Lebanon, we will not accept a deal with us. The Iranians say this. Lebanon should be thankful, and this is not an interference, this is an help from outside. What did the France, always the President Aoun address Trump as his friend? What did he do in this sense? What did Trump do to Joseph Aoun? And what did he was able to reach anywhere, any result? We didn't see anything. He says about a breakthrough. We were able to make a huge achievement. What's this? Would you please tell us, nominate, what's this huge achievement that you made, President? Is this a possibility? Can you tell us, can you explain this? While the Minister of the Israeli Security, Israel Katz, is saying, we were able to make a huge achievement on the political level that is going to meet our military achievement on the ground. This is what he said.
Dr. Moussawi,
how could you put them together?
Dr. Moussawi, we're getting close to the end of this show. When history looks back at this period, how would Hezbollah be remembered?
As a patriotic, genuinely Lebanese people who were fighting for the dignity, for the sovereignty, for the independence. And when we talk, this is not like, I'm not paying lip service, the genuine honesty, dignity, independence, honor of the country are being saved and are being sacrificed for by our people. And when you talk about our people, I don't talk about Shiites only. People who support the resistance, who want the real sovereign state in the country. We want a real sovereign state. A state that would say no to the Americans. Our authority, the authority here, they only say no to the Iranians, but they won't say any word to the Americans or even to the Israelis. They never address the Israeli aggression that is taking place on a daily basis, the killing of people. They have killed 2 of our officers in our Lebanese army. We would really dearly feel sorry for them. And we say the army, the officers of the army, they are ready. And even the leader of the army, he said he is ready to give scenarios. They never allowed him. So yes, I believe Hezbollah would be remembered, and all of those who support Hezbollah would be remembered as real patriots who generously sacrificed their lives for the sake of the sovereignty of the country and not for any other.
Dr. Ibrahim Moussawi, Hezbollah MP in the Lebanese Parliament, thank you for talking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you.